Hi, this is Brett with Piano Aha. In this video, we want to talk about what you need to know in order to play Bach's Prelude in C major at sight with the left hand. Specifically, we need to know how to read when the notes go up and down, what the lines and the spaces mean, what flats and sharps are, and where middle C is. If you already know all four of these points, then you can move on to the next video where we actually learn to play Bach's Prelude in C major at sight for the left hand. Otherwise, I will now show you what I mean. So we have the sheet music here for Bach's Prelude in C major in front of us, and we see that we have notes going up, we have notes going down, we have notes and lines, notes in spaces. What else do we have? We have here what's called a flat, and we have a sharp, and of course we have a very first note of the piece that we're going to have to find. So let's remove these two sheets of paper and talk about how to solve these problems. We'll start with this sheet here. So we see we have a bunch of notes going upwards, at least upwards if you're reading as we do English from left to right. So just as I read up and down here, I read here from left to right. These notes are going upwards. Now what does that mean on piano? That means I also have to play upwards on the piano, but it's not clear what upwards should mean because I can only go left or right. On the piano, the high notes are over on the right and the low notes are over on the left. If you want, you can think of this as a bird and this is a bear. They go up and they go down. So if these notes are going upwards, then I would also play upwards, that is, to the right. So if we have something like this, with notes going down, I would have to play to the left. So I would play something like that. Now, what if I just had notes on the line? What do lines and spaces mean at all? Well, every line in the music corresponds to some white key of the piano. So if I only have notes on lines, that means I'm skipping over the keys that are on the spaces. So for example, I might play like this, I have a line, I skip this white key, and then I'm here, and I skip this white key, and then I'm here, I skip one, and I skip one. I could just as well have the same thing for spaces. Then I might play here. This note, and I have to skip over the one on the line. Let's go here, skip over one, there's a skip, there's a skip, there's a skip. So we're not worrying at all about what any of these notes are called, whether they're called E or F or Frederick or Gladys. We're just talking about how to find them. I don't need to be on a first name basis with them at this point. Now, what do we do if the notes are on top of each other? Well, that just means I play them at the same time. So these two would, for example, be played here. And then here I would have to play one more note with another skip above that, so that would be like this. Now we see here that all three of these notes just go down one, right? They go in this direction. So that means I have to play toward the bear here, toward the left. And I have this. And what we have here is just the same thing, but with just another skip on top of that and another skip on top of that, which would be like this. Now you might be wondering what this little line is here. That's called the ledger line, and we just use that when we run out of the normal 5 lines that we have, and we can add as many as we need. So we also said before we need to have a starting point. The starting point we are going to be using is middle C. This is called middle C because it's right between these two staves. So this is called treble clef and this is called bass clef. But that's not important for us right now. It's just important that this note is right in the middle of that. So it's called middle C. And if you want to find that on the piano, it's also the C, and this is a C, that is closest to the middle of the piano. So if you figure out mathematically where the middle of the piano is, you'll come up with something around here, and this is the C that's closest to that. C is the note that you find directly to the left of any pair of two black notes, black keys. So, if I'm going to be playing a piano piece, I'm going to have to know which notes need to be played with the left hand and which needs to be played with the right hand. And the question might present itself, well, if I write all these notes down here, I might want to play them with the left hand because that's the hand that's over on the left, obviously. And any note that's up here, I would play with the right hand because those are the high notes. But with what hand am I going to play this? Because since it's right in the middle. So one way of getting around this problem is to actually pull these two sets of 5 lines away from each other, and we write middle C like this when we want the left hand to play it. So that would be middle C for the left hand, and this would be middle C for the right hand. So in other words, if I'm in this lower set of 5 lines, the first line that I see above it, that's middle C, and the first line that I see below these 5 is middle C. So here's the test. Where's middle C here? You might think, well, the one that's in the middle, that must be middle C. But like I just said, this is middle C. So if that's middle C, this must be middle C too. Like we said, this is the first line as we're moving toward the middle that's on the ledger line here. This is middle C. So that would be played like this. This note's here. That note is then a skip above it, and that's another skip above it. And for the right hand, that would still be middle C. So I'd have this note and a skip below it, another skip below it. Right? So this makes it clear which hand is supposed to play what. The strange thing about it, of course, is that these two notes are the same, although they're not on the same height. So, another thing that we talked about needing to know was flats and sharps. So if I have middle C, and I'm playing that, and then there's this strange symbol next to it, this B looking symbol, which is called a flat, that means I have to go down to the left. That symbol brings me down. So I play a lower note, one key to the left. This has nothing to do with white or black. We use all of the keys, and just think, that's the next one I need. So I would take this one. If I had started, let's say here, and then I had this flat in front of the note, then I would go one key to the left, and I would play here. If I had been here, and I go one key to the left, then I would be here. So that's called a flat. And this one is called a sharp. It's the opposite. You go up. You can remember that because this looks like a ladder that you could use to climb upwards. So if I have middle C, as I do here, and I have a sharp, that means I just move one key to the right. And obviously, if I had been, let's say here, and I have a sharp, then I would move up here. Or if I had been here and had a sharp, then I would move here. So that should be all you need to know. With this knowledge as a basis, we will now, in the next video, learn how to play the left hand of Bach's Prelude in C major at sight. See you there.